Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fire Force Chapter 243. When we last left our heroes, Charon's fight with Ogun was continuing. We found out that Ogun's ancestor is responsible for many of the immigrants who arrived in Tokyo in the aftermath of the Cataclysm. And then Ogun went to use his flamey ink form to, overload Charon's counter abilities. But instead of taking the hit, Charon dodged, slung Ogun over his shoulder, and used Stomp at point-blank range, seemingly taking Ogun out of the fight. Which leads us right into Chapter 243, Us Back in the Day, which I'm still predicting is going to be focusing on Arthur and Ogun, given how little we've seen of the Academy days between Arthur, Ogun, and Shinra. Anyway, our picture here is Charon as a Wobbuffet, bouncing back and forth, using counter. It'll take whatever you got and dish it back out. The strongest monster. Unless there's another, more traditional Japanese folklore reference there, I think that has to be, a literal Wobbuffet. Anyway, so we open kind of where we left off with the explosion that Charon just dealt to Ogun, still roaring behind him. Overwhelming power. How can you stop him? And Charon taunts the rest of the group. I'll take on anybody. Come at me. Tamaki screams, Ogun! And we see the flames. And then Charon says to someone in particular, hey, you with the hood. You game? Oh, I think that's Arthur. This is at the bottom of the page, we see Arthur in a hood. I was thought maybe it's Arrow, but he would know Arrow. In prior translations, White-Clad was translated as White Hood, so maybe he was talking to Arrow. Maybe Tamaki, if you read The Habit as a hood, because she just spoke. But no, he was talking to Arthur, which we'll get to in a second. And so Tamaki just says, stunned, who could possibly take on an enemy like that? And Arrow tells her, nobody if they're attacking from head on. The best way to deal with him is to not play his game. And then we see Arthur in the hood that Charon was referring to. And Ogun rises. I remember someone in the comment section last week mentioning they did not think Ogun was down. I was very certain that he was. But he's back up. I doubt for long. He is battered and bruised and beat. But as he rises, he says, Arthur, you just stay prepped for Dragon. I'm still in this. And Charon turns to him, want to say that again? And Ogun just grins. And then Ogun thinks to himself, big talk, Ogun. How are you actually going to handle this guy? He just eats every one of my punches. And we see that he's kind of landing some punches on Charon, and Charon readies his own attack. Another counter? He can't absorb energy and expend it at the same time. I'll counter his counter. Could that work? I doubt that's going to work. But Ogun, while Charon is readying his attack, hits Charon square in the face. Now! And it does not work. Perhaps, it might kind of work. Because Charon's hit here seems to just be a pure fist, and not his counter abilities. Which helped a little bit, but not enough. As Charon was still more than able to deliver a punch without his flame powers. Yeah, and as Charon says, if I just use a regular punch, I can attack while keeping the energy absorbed. Yeah. Alright, that did not work at all. And we see the impact, the flamey ink comes off of Ogun. It itself is affected by the impact. And then, after Ogun loses contact with Charon, Charon is then free to use his counter at full strength again. And I highly doubt Ogun is getting back up after this. Ogun falls to the ground. He's too strong. How am I going to stop a monster like him? And then he flashes back to the Academy, giving us our chapter title. As we don't really see, but we hear Shinra and Arthur arguing. Heroes are way cooler. Screw that, knights are. And the two of them are like glaring at each other, and then Ogun gets him, says off to the side, "Man, stop fighting. You guys were getting along so good." And then we see like introductions, I guess, at the academy, as someone says, "I look forward to working with all my fellow students." All right, next. "Yes, sir." And Shinra comes up. "My name is Shinra Kusakabe. I want to be a fire soldier and a hero." And Ogun just looks at him. And then we hear, "All right, next." Then later that day, Shinra is like walking alone, and I'm guessing this is Ogun, who says, "Hey, Shinra." Oh no, it's Arthur. "Oh, the night guy." Yeah. "Arthur-kun." And then these girls all come up to Arthur. "Are you really a knight?" "That's quite right." "Ha ha ha. Awesome. If I'm ever in trouble, come save me, okay?" And Arthur gives a little thumbs up, like shining. "I'll rush to your side whenever you need me." That's a kind of cool factor Arthur just never gives off in the present day. That's a promise, okay? And as the girls all leave, "Arthur-kun's so cute." "I know, right? I almost want to keep him as a pet." "Okay, that's a thing." And Shinra just, as they leave, Shinra just kind of side-eyes Arthur, and then just frustratedly says, "Somebody's a hit with the ladies." Heh. "Well, I am a knight." And then Ogun pops up behind them. "Damn, already making friends, huh?" And Shinra looks at him. "I know you. You're Ogun Montgomery. You're #1 of all the rookies on both written and practical skills." And Ogun, like, tames the compliment. "On the tests, maybe. Individual results don't matter. We're a team." We see even at the beginning, Ogun is just a really good guy. And both Shinra and Arthur think, he's a model fire soldier. And what a team can really use is heroic guys like you. And the type will go out of his way to cover for screw-ups like us. I never knew Shinra and Arthur had that much self-awareness. And Shinra asks, "Ogun, you're a good guy then. You're a good guy then?" "I mean, I'm not a bad guy. Let's be friends, yeah?" "Yeah, for sure." And Shinra and Arthur both kind of fist bump. I love seeing how small they are here. Like, they believably look like what Shinra, Arthur, and Ogun might look like, how long ago was this? 2 or 3 years? Like, they look like, maybe 14-year-old versions of themselves, very believably. And then we see, these two guys who we don't really know, and Kareen in the background, but two guys talking about, Shinra, Arthur, and Ogun. So you've got Shinra, who blasted through the practical exam, Arthur with the strongest firepower, and now Ogun with the #1 scores. Looks like the best attract the best after all, huh? We see Kareen kind of at the idea of the best attracting the best, I guess. And then someone else asks, turns to Kareen, "Hey, have you heard? The big rumor?" "What's that?" "That guy Shinra Kusakabe? They say he's a devil. Killed his mom and little brother. And a guy like that's going to be a fire soldier? A big hero? No way." Curiously, we don't see this guy's face. And given what's kind of been set up over the past 10 or 12 chapters, that the idea of Shinra as devil is deliberate, a rumor curated by the White-Clads in order to stop the hero imagery that Shinra was born with, I'm curious if we're gonna like on the next page see this guy as someone we recognize as a White-Clad. A devil? Really? Kusakabe? And we see him, and he has Yona's eyes. So yeah. Ogun seemed like a good guy. I hope he doesn't get duped. I'm worried for him. So yeah, we are... I honestly always kind of struggled to really... Like, especially because the devil imagery pops up so early in Shinra's timeline. Like, his grandmother brings it up as soon as Mari dies. That I kind of had trouble squaring away this idea that it was this big scheme. But also, we see here Yona deliberately setting up that scheme. And we see Kareen's dislike for Shinra start to grow as a direct result of Yona. I wonder if we'll ever get a resolution of that. Kareen's a minor enough character that I don't he doesn't exactly pop up all that often. So I wonder if he'll ever realize that his hatred of Shinra is a direct White-Clad plot. And then we hear people talking about Shinra behind his back. Did you hear the rumor? It's not a rumor. I guess it's true. A matricidal devil. And we see as Shinra grows uncomfortable with that, his creepy smile emerges. Hey, look at that creepy smile. And Ogun comes behind, pats Shinra on the shoulder. Shinra, you alright, man? Yeah, for sure. And Ogun tells him, just ignore it. You don't believe the rumors, Ogun? I mean, are they true? No, they're not. Back then, and Ogun tells him, they're not true, I get it. I don't know the details, but I never doubt my friends over some rumors. Besides, we might end up assigned to the same company. Ogun is just a really good guy. We stand. He better live through this fight. Because if we really get a first-hand look at how wonderful a human being Ogun is, just for him to immediately die, I'll be very sad. Anyway, Shinra just smiles. A seemingly more genuine smile, but it's still just as creepy as usual. And Ogun turns away. You gotta stop with the smile, though. I can't help it. Bad habit. And Ogun, kinda is a little, confused by that. You're weird, man. And then we see, a basketball game. The students playing basketball. Damn, he doesn't quit. Whatever team Ogun joins is obviously gonna win. One man can't get the job done, then two can, right? That's what's fun about team sports. Ogun, ever the fucking angel, assures everyone that they're also good. But then he hears another Shinra-Arthur fight. Screw you, it's heroes. What a joke, it's obviously knights. And Ogun is confused. What's with them? Heroes! Knights! And that's the end of the chapter. A fight breaks out over heroes and knights. What could have started it? To be continued in chapter 244, The Ties That Bind. Okay. So, first thing, I'm really hoping this flashback does not go on for more than one more chapter. Ties That Bind is a title that could, show, the wrapping up of this arc. We see, or this flashback, I mean. We see the bond between Shinra, Arthur, Ogun, which is really all we need to get to get us back to the fight with Charon. I will say, one complaint with the setup of the flashback itself is that it's not it's only very mildly relevant. I'm kind of drawn to a comparison between, it's a much smaller example of this, but drawn to the comparison of something like the Mei-Rin flashback in Black Butler that just is doing nothing and is just kind of there for no good reason. And this is not at that level, but it's in the same wheelhouse. It's a very tangential thought process to go to Ogun has no idea how he's going to beat Charon, and then he starts flashing back to the past. Unless it is, as I really don't want it to be, his life flashing before his eyes, and he's gonna die here. Which maybe he will? Something has to happen. There has to be a way to beat Charon. Despite the fact that the narrative has given us no expectation that there is a way to beat Charon. He has to lose eventually. I mean, I complained in the past of not getting the Shinra-Charon rematch that I've wanted since Fifth Pillar. And maybe the way this storyline will resolve itself is that Charon just wins. He gets into Amaterasu, activates the Cataclysm, Adola and the real world are merged, and then we can have Shinra versus Charon, because Shinra and Adola is now on the same plane as Charon in the real world, and they can fight. So maybe that's what the goal is here, given how much both Shinra versus Charon, and to a lesser extent Haumea versus Arthur, has kind of been teased, and how those are both kind of blocked off by the rules of the narrative. But I don't know. The fight itself, what we get of it, is cool. I love we see, Ogun's idea, and how it's almost a good idea, but Charon sees through it immediately. He's well aware of his own weaknesses, and he knows how to counter for them. And he just doesn't use his flame until after Ogun's punch is finished, which is a great plan. And it works perfectly, and Ogun is, beat up. And then we get the flashback, and it's nice to, it's a little late in the series to get this, but it's nice to finally really see, the flashback that sets up the bond between Shinra, Arthur, and Ogun, how they met. We don't really, I feel like it's not exactly an important flashback unless something happens in the rest of it. And it seems to me like the reason we haven't seen this before is just to keep the Yona reveal. If we had Yona here this early, it would kind of spoil the idea of Shinra as Devil is a White-Clad plot. But the problem with waiting this long is that we don't really, none of the other information we get is really all that new. Like, we know all this. We know Shinra, Ogun, and Arthur are friends. We know they know each other from their academy days. I mean, maybe there's an implication that something happened in that, because if you think back to the beginning of the series, Shinra did not know Arthur would be coming to Company 8 with him, despite the fact they were in the same graduating class and were, at the very least, close acquaintances in the past. I don't know. The flashback itself is not bad. I'm kind of being negative here, but it's very much not bad. It's good. It's just I'm a little concerned it's not well placed. But I don't know. We'll have to see how this all resolves itself. Hopefully next week. I don't want to spend too long away from the present. As all of my other flashback arcs I've covered on this channel have kind of shown, flashbacks have a bad way of kicking up, of destroying the momentum a series has built up. And I don't want that to happen here, because the momentum is fantastic on Fire Force right now, and I want it to stay that way. But yeah, the chapter itself it's pretty good. I'm just a little concerned about its placement. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this chapter. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like, or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!